Oh boy. Okay, so I don't really know how to cover the Grammys. Okay. I'm just gonna walk y'all through how I think about things. So I got this New York Times email this morning. I got a message in my inbox from the New York Times, and it was the best and worst moments of the 2025 Grammy. So already the New York Times is coming in hot, right? Coming in hot. Doechii and Chapel Roan brought dramatic performances and heartfelt speeches. New artists stole the spotlight and men took a backseat. And I think the truth is, I just really don't care. Um, I'm happy for Doechii and Chapel Roan. I think is pretty cool. I don't like my complete experience with Chapel Roan is the times that we've played their stuff here on the morning show, which is all of twice. And I really like that "Hot to Go" song. I think that shit is great. I think Doechii is amazing. Um, I'm happy for Doechii to be congratulated, and I hope. See, this is the thing. I hope it means something for the Academy and for the consumption of rap music, like going forward. Like, I hope that there's some positive effect and this isn't just a one-off thing, because being a musician, it's like, I know how this game works is the problem. That's the problem for me, is that I understand that for an artist to win a Grammy, the label and the distributor has to be in a position to lobby the shit out of the recording academy. Like, other than that, there's no shot. Like, that's why there's never really any like independent musicians or entities that do well in these things, is because they're not properly positioned, right? Doechii is incredibly positioned, in addition to being incredibly talented and being very artistically inclined. Like, I love the boundaries that Doechii's willing to push. I love the conversations that Doechii's art is attempting to have. She often talks about her feelings about the industry, her feelings about her own label, her feelings about sexuality, gender roles, her feelings about her own maturity level emotionally and pettiness, and like, I'm here for all of that shit, and I hope that this proper positioning and this effective lobbying and the fact that her art is so effective, I hope that it has an impact on the ways rap music is framed in these environments, and I hope that it's positioned in a way to inspire younger artists to not feel like they have to fit in the categories that have come before, because those have been extremely narrow, especially on the women in hip hop side. The modes of expression have been extremely limited. So I'm hoping that this opens some of that up, and this is not just like a one-off thing. So that's good. Shout out to Doechii. Beyonce won album of the year finally. But see, that's the thing about that, is like, whenever the Grammys come around, somebody reminds me that Beyonce hasn't won album of the year, because in my life I just don't think about stuff like that. I just doesn't, like, when, okay, as a musician, right? I look at an artist like Beyonce as the pinnacle of kind of what a black artist can be in terms of success and influence and acclaim, and every category, right? Like, every category, 100 out of 10 in terms of what can be done. I think Beyonce is one of the artists that uses their resources the absolute best. Like, in terms of creating impactful art that can be incredibly challenging to I mean, incredibly brave in terms of what it's trying to say. Like, I think Lemonade was just like fucking mind-blowingly awesome in terms of a conversation to be had about, like, your very public partner partner's indiscretions and the complicated spectrum of feelings of dealing with that, and to create not only music that adequately addresses all of that, but surrounding art and visuals and music videos and the film, like that pushes it all even further, using like the best people at those things. And Lemonade was like that. I can't recall necessarily all the other projects. Cowboy Carter, I was like, okay. I felt I was not interested in the conversation that I felt like Cowboy Carter was attempting to have. I wasn't interested in it personally. For the people who are, it's great. Congratulations on her winning the Grammy for it finally. Where I feel like she probably should have won before, but again, underpinning all of that is I don't really care. And I'm curious, as much as this has been a narrative for years, I'm curious how much Beyonce actually really cared about not getting this one Grammy. Because she's won a bunch of other ones, right? Like, she's won plenty of other Grammys, right? Like, she's not Grammyless. Her mantle is not empty. Um, she's won a ton of them. I guess this one was eluding her, and she got it for the country album that I didn't love that much. Some people loved it. It was great. We played it here on stream, or we poked around on it. It just wasn't for me, which is fine, because again, most of this shit isn't for me, right? Um, Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Chat just did a thing. Most of this shit isn't for me, and that's okay. That's okay. Um, and I think part of the difficulty of me talking about the Grammys is like everything that runs through my nervous system while I'm watching them. All of the visuals and the sounds and the presentations and the who's and the hosts and the like, most of it strikes me as not for me. So I don't know. I think I get annoyed when I watch the Grammys. Like, I actually get like actually annoyed. Um because my true feelings about Grammys, Oscars, American Music Awards, most of these things, it's just the industry filleting itself in front of itself, congratulating itself by taking its ribs out and blowing itself. And it's like, okay, you know, I get it, but I don't know. I will say that I saw some things last night that were definitely visually interesting and stimulating. Like some of the performances were really fucking cool. Um, and it, but even all of that stuff, it puts me in the same mindset as Doechii winning. It's like, oh, I hope that this is the direction things are going in. I hope that this is the direction things are moving in. And I guess I just have little faith that that any of this signals anything impactful. Um, I mean, I'll say this though. Um, Look, I think they might have put this. I'm gonna play this Kendrick Lamar rented because I saw this and this shit made my blood run cold. Like, cause so Not Like Us won Record of the Year. It won Song of the Year. It won Music Video of the Year. It won Rap Performance and something else. It won 5 Grammys. This song won 5 Grammys. This rap song in a celebration in the annual industry celebration of itself, this song that wasn't even on an album won 5 Grammys, including Song of the Year and Record of the Year, which cut across genres. Adam, I don't know the difference between record and album. I kind of I don't necessarily understand the difference. I'll say that maybe Song of the Year is more about the songwriters, if that makes sense. Potentially, that's more of a celebration of the writers, and the record is just about the impact of the actual song. Um, so, but yeah, and I think some people are in the chat sort of hashing that out one way or another right now. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure which one is which, or if that's even the distinction. But my sense is that Song of the Year is more for the writers. I feel like when I was watching that category, when they were listing the nominees, there was a special emphasis on the writers of each one of those songs. Um, and record is not album because Not Like Us isn't even on an album. Um, but yeah, the this song playing in the hall while this award was being accepted is one of the most fucking surreal moments I've ever seen in live pop culture television events. Um, and I hope that this is shown as it was shown on the telecast because this was fucking mind blowing.
Strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
That is fucking incredible. That is fucking incredible. There's probably hella people in that room who have worked with Drake on the creative side and the industry side. And it wasn't like anybody had to encourage them to do that. They just all said it. They all reaffirmed the one of the catchier parts of the song where it's specifically alluding to Drake being a pedophile. Um, I like I feel like in many ways I'm still processing that moment. Um, because there just seems to be a lot of meaning there, a lot of there's a lot to untangle. I mean, that's the other. Yes, Honus Wagner, you're right. There are probably perpetrators of that crime singing along with that line. Um, it's crazy. Yeah, and shout out to Rob Markman, who was the first person who I saw point out that Kendrick, even though this entire telecast and he won multiple awards, he didn't mention Drake at all. But wardrobe wise, Rob Markman is the first person who I saw point out that this is what's known as the Canadian tuxedo, is the denim on denim. Because this summer was just crazy with the dishes and all of that. But I've told this story before. I was in Chicago doing a live Questlove interview for his book release, and I was at a bar with some of my oldest friends, and I saw on Twitter that Kendrick had dropped again, because this was after dropping Gimme 50, is it? And then Push Ups, Euphoria, did Not Like Us was after Meet the Grams, right? Whatever. There had been some back and forth already. And I saw on Twitter that Kendrick dropped again. And it was like, I feel like it was very much like NBA fans reacted with this Luka and AD trade, where they were like, what? This can't be real. So you see on social media that Kendrick dropped again, and I was at a bar with a DJ and people just hanging out and drinking. So this song drops, and I have to stop conversation with my oldest friends to put in my earbuds and hear the song right then and there at the bar. I hear it. I'm like, fucking wow, okay. Like he's really going at him. The first verse and an A minor, and the second verse, the colonizer, all of that, right? And the homies end up hearing it too, and we're like, oh shit, okay, wow, this is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy. About 30 minutes later, maybe it was an hour later, the DJ at the bar played it. And a bunch of people knew it already. Like a bunch of people knew the lyrics already. Like I've never seen a real time impact of a song like that. I've never seen it. I've never, like, as many as the huge songs I've seen in hip hop history where I've been alive, I have not ever seen a song spread like wildfire like that in real time with real people. I just have never seen it. So it's crazy, right? Like, and I went to the pop out. I put this in the Kendrick video that I made on YouTube, the Super Bowl video. Like, one of the craziest memories I have of being at the pop out. He played the song like 5 times, but especially the first time, like, because everybody in the Kia Forum, but the Kia Forum probably fits about 15,000 people or something like that. Everybody in the Kia Forum went up as soon as the beat came on. And it was the sort of thing where, like, you know, some people knew some of the lyrics, some people were rapping completely along, but everybody knew that A minor part. 15,000 people. A minor. It was crazy. And then to see the people where they're doing the Grammys, I don't know what building that was where they do the Grammys, but to see them do the same thing, I just like it's such an incredible moment. And I don't mean incredible in like, oh, this is just super good. Like, I mean incredible in like, I don't necessarily know how to make sense of all of this shit. Like, I don't completely understand what it means that the most impactful song that I've experienced in a long, like, I can't say in hip hop history, but I can definitely say the most impactful rap song of probably the last 20 years that just cleaned up at the Grammys, that is about to be performed at the Super Bowl. And that's the thing. You see, these are industry connected people rapping along with the song, where there's at least some incentive, maybe not to, like, maybe there's some people there who may have had a second thought of whether or not they want to keep relationships with Drake or anybody surrounding him or anybody with OVO or whatever, right? The Super Bowl is going to be full of people who have no incentive to not sing along. So now we're talking about, I think, what, the Superdome? I don't know, is it 60,000 people? 50? I don't know how many it holds. They're all gonna say A minor. They're probably gonna do one of those sweeping camera shots of the crowd. And like, the fact that this song essentially is one of the bigger rappers in the world calling another of the biggest rappers in the world a file. It's mind blowing. 83,000 people are going to yell A minor. It's just nuts. Yeah, no, he's definitely playing the song. It's been confirmed the NFL isn't going to stop him. And like, I just saw somebody in the chat say they have put snippets of the song in promo materials for the Super Bowl. See some of the chat here. It's going to be audible, I swear, to those not even watching. In a way, this is very beautiful, not because the truth comes to light. See, I don't know. I don't. I have a hard time applying anything ethereal or spiritual to it, because I feel like it's more akin to what somebody was saying in the chat earlier, where there's probably people who have actually done that in that crowd last night at the Grammys who were singing along with that song. It's like, I don't believe all the truth is coming out about all of the people. I don't believe that this is a signal towards anything like that. I don't think that this is in any way gonna save anybody from that happening. It's like, I don't know. I think Drake and how he moves in particular set himself up to get punched in the face by the world like this. But I don't think that there's any like benefit outside of that, I guess. I don't really believe that. There's a commercial with a jazz quartet riffing on Not Like Us. Wow. Um, let's see. I love the song, but I honestly feel like it trivializes the issue and makes it seem like only rich and powerful get away with it. I mean, I guess I don't have that issue with the song either. I mean, in some ways, it is brave to have made that song and to call out a guy who is that powerful um, for many transgressions in dealing with underage people. So I don't know. I guess I don't feel like it trivializes. I feel like it's a very impactful call out, but just a call out of one person, and not us. I guess to agree with you is that it's not in any way dealing with the systemic causes of why shit like that happens or people are allowed to get away with it. So to that degree, I agree with you. It's us visually seeing the aftermath of Civil War or Infinity or Secret Wars, and we've been rewarded for paying attention for 10 years, and that's interesting. Okay. So for rap music, rap fans, the people who have been reading between the lines for a decade with the war going back and forth between Kendrick and Drake, it is a hell of a moment for the rap fan. Um, I mean, and it's been one of the things that's been really interesting about even me doing all this YouTube shit, and just seeing how much interest there is um, in people trying to understand what a lot of this shit means. Um, it's interesting. There's so much that people want to say about all of this shit. There's so much that people want to hear about all of this shit. Um, so for the people who have been asking questions, who have been poring over lyrics, who have been noticing shots sent back and forth, I do like it when entertainment rewards people for paying attention. Um, I guess the funny thing about that is that clearly this entire time the industry hasn't been paying attention. So it's like the industry is jumping on the bandwagon of the super nerdy rap fans and jumping on that train, which is absolutely never how anything like this has happened before. It helps others be more confident to call out their oppressors. Okay. Or their predators. Yeah, for the first time, the industry is behind the curve. Yeah, like this has definitely been a lyric nerds movement. Because I think the industry, for the most part, ignores 99% of the shit that rappers say. Like, the industry focuses on the hooks, and they could give a damn about the lyrics. And for those of us who have been paying attention the entire time, this is a hell of a moment, and how this all culminated in what it is, and how, like, lyric nerds were the ones on the forefront of explaining all of this shit to everybody else. Has been an interesting reshuffling of things too. The industry has been paying attention, but it's not monetarily beneficial to take action on their own. They get to reap the benefit from Kendrick calling it out. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know how much the industry has been paying attention. I feel like the industry pays much more attention to numbers and chart positions and radio spins and I feel like a lot of times they could hardly be bothered with what the content is outside of the beat and the hook. But that's just my opinion. The industry that is pushed upon us is not reflective of what is good enough to be recognized. Like everybody here listens to different stuff and connects with different types of music. The award shows are just an extension of pop in the machine. Exactly. That's always been my issue with them, and that's always been why it's difficult for me to pay very much attention to it, because it's all an industry game of congratulating itself, and it's never been reflective or connected to any of the music or much of the music that actually moves me. Gotta say, kind of wild that when the truth about Diddy came out, people were saying how it was an open secret and there were signs everywhere. Meanwhile, now Kendrick is about to call Drake out on the world's biggest stage, and it's still just considered rumors. I do think there is a difference between the evidence against Diddy and the evidence against Drake, but I think that's mostly because Diddy has had a 20-year head start, and Diddy, a lot of the shit he was doing was before social media, so you were able to get away with a lot more when Diddy started doing shit. And in addition to, I would say this, I think there's a lot to be said about the industry that Diddy came into in terms, and a lot of questions to be asked about who he learned a lot of his predatory shit from. I have some ideas about that too. But I think that if you look at the history of the music industry, especially before the modern era, there's a lot of people who would tell you a lot of stories about shit that happened to them behind closed doors that we're not able to have evidence of the same way we are now because of social media. People aren't able to post screenshots, post receipts, post concert footage. People weren't able to do that the way that they are now. So I do think, and I'm not here saying that Drake is innocent by any means, but I think that when you talk about the open secretness of Diddy, you're talking about a lot more transgressions over a lot longer of a time, with a lot more people still around to tell you exactly what happened to them. Whereas with Drake, you're not seeing as much of that. I hope the industry takes it to heart and stops platforming predators also. I don't see it happening. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. Maybe it will, but I don't see it. I feel like the industry is... Okay, so we had to talk about probably America, right? Because this industry is powered in many ways by cult of personality, demagoguery, and in America, and I don't know if this is like this around the world, but I know in America, if you look at the entertainment business, you look at high level successful religion, you look at government, where there's power, where there is power, there are people taking advantage of people. In all of these silos of American culture, where you have people who have power, there are people within that structure aligned with the structure, and the structure is protecting them from facing the consequences of taking advantage of people. And I believe that the entertainment industry has not changed enough to where it will have some sort of conscience, because I feel like there's too many people who are still probably there who have participated in things, turned a blind eye to things, help perpetuate all of that, to where I don't feel like there's going to be a real any real correction, because people are too afraid to admit the things that they've seen or the things that they've done or the things that they've heard. If anything, I feel like this will make people more secretive. They'll take more caution in hiding their bullshit, but I believe that the industry is still rife with the bullshit. If there's something I take away about Lisa Chase Wolf, there's something I take away about it. It's that it shows that artists with baggage aren't untouchable the way they were previously, and that does send a message, no matter how minor. I see what you did there. Is this the best treatment that hip hop has received at a Grammy show? Flax, I have no idea, because I don't typically pay attention enough. Yeah, Drake has definitely been seen grooming with text, 100%. Kendrick used a spotlight to shine it on. I don't think Kendrick will use a spotlight. I think Kendrick will use the spotlight to shine it on LA artists, West Coast music, and I think there will be a handful of political statements. And And I'm sure he's going to play the song. I don't think he's going to actually make it about Drake at all. The song was bigger than Drake at this point, which is weird, right? Like, isn't that weird that the song is bigger than Drake when the song is all about Drake? Like, the song is about Drake's transgressions with underage girls, and the song is about Drake's culture vulture antics in the industry. And now the song is somehow bigger than him. Has anything like that ever happened in hip hop? That is another conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we need a palate cleanser. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.